From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
It's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief, beyond belief.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. And right now it feels like we don't take a minute off. How are you doing, Ollie?
I'm all right, mate. I've been fixing my pipe again today, hence why I'm wearing the same T-shirt, same boxer shorts, same socks, and same shorts.
I mean, just because you're working outside doesn't mean you have to be scruffy.
I don't see the point in making other clothes dirty.
No. There's no point in doing it. It's like it's just like, I mean, there's no real point in wearing clothes when it's warm. It's just like a human decency thing. It's what separates us from animals, Ollie.
Mate, I'll be honest with you. If the fence didn't have gaps in it, I would have done it naked.
Yeah, but you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Well, I'm glad you got your pipe fixed. It's
fixed it myself, Lee.
Yeah, and when usually you would get another man to fix your pipe.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, or a woman.
No.
You don't think that there's women plumbers out there?
I don't think there's any good ones.
Ooh. We've gone extremely right wing, haven't we?
That's not right wing. That's just sensible. The look, I've worked on building sites for years.
Oh, mate, I'll be honest with you. There's quite a few women in the past that have fixed my pipe, and they've done a good job.
I've worked in the building trade for my entire life, and more and more and more. I apologize to any female listeners that might find this offensive, but I'm coming at it from a point of fucking authority and knowledge. Behind every female tradesperson is a man that has to work twice as hard that's working with her. It's fact. It's one. Every single tradie that listens to this podcast, male tradie that listens to this podcast, will go, yep, I've been there. I've either seen it or it's happened to me. And every single female trader that's listening to this podcast will go, that's bullshit. And that's because they don't fucking appreciate the guy that's with them that's on the work days doing twice as much work.
You'd have thought that, like, and just to keep our female audience, I totally disagree with you, but you would have thought because they've got smaller hands that they would be good at like getting into the pipe and that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go through my storied career as a tradesman. I'm going to say
it is right though. There's male jobs and there's female jobs, isn't there?
Of course there is. You make me a midwife. I have dropped 5 babies by lunchtime.
Oh yeah, I make a shit midwife.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd end up like chopping a toe off or something.
Instead of doing that fucking heat thing, I'd have stuck one in the fucking fridge. You know, the one would be missing a leg because I missed the fucking umbilical cord.
Well, that's what I was about to say, but I said toe, not a leg. I'm not stupid.
Oh, yeah, I am, but yeah, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything controversial about that. Anyway, to other female jobs, sex workers. The Epstein files, Ollie. We were only saying last night that were we saying this off the podcast or on the podcast?
I can't remember, but we said it.
We had a
we said it.
Yeah, I think we had a conversation about this off podcast about like whether we've been like had off as mugs, whether the Trump administration would ever do anything. We've always said on this podcast ever since he came in, the Epstein documents will be the litmus test for this current administration as far as its transparency, like thing go. You know, what they're trying to put across as being like the most transparent like government in history and stuff. It's not going to happen, Ollie. Should we listen to Big Daddy Jones talking to us about it?
Yes, bring Big Daddy Jones on. I do now think everybody should refer to him as that.
Right. Let's listen to Big Daddy Jones.
Well, I woke up this morning and turned my phone on, and there were hundreds of text messages saying, "Oh my God, the DOJ just put out a letter." I know you've all seen now, saying there is no Epstein client list. There never was any blackmail operation. Epstein killed himself, and the investigation's closed. So everybody wants to know what I think. Well, I know what's going on. And so I'll tell you. Trump had two ways to go with all of this. He could prosecute all of these incredibly prominent people, household names, or they could use the information to blackmail the deep state. I've done deep research, have a lot of contacts, and know Trump's MO. And he's not into kids. He's not into being peed on, and Russian hotels. All that was lies. We now know from the CIA and Brennan and the very crew running the Epstein operation. But the reason that you are seeing this deep sixth is because the CIA with the Mossad and MI6 was running Epstein, and it was an official U.S. government operation, multinational. And it was the family business going back to Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, and that's all on record. So if Trump was to actually prosecute this, it would bring down the CIA. And so that's why you've had Comey, who controlled the files over at the FBI with the CIA, but on that end of the DOJ, having his daughter do all the main cover-ups, not just with the Epstein and Maxwell case, but obviously P. Diddy and the rest of it. So this is the swamp winning. The question is Trump's DOJ actually using this to control the deep state? Or are they just so overwhelmed by it, they are tapping out? Because, let me explain logic here. And from all obvious inside sources, we're the ones that broke with the FBI whistleblowers, O'Boyle and others, Seraphin, all of this that was first unfolding 5 months ago when they were supposed to, have this 14 terabytes. They'd sent it out to the FBI field offices for investigation. And Pam Bondi went on Fox a bunch of times. So did U.S. attorneys from New Jersey and said, "Oh yeah, we've seen it, hundreds of new victims and videos and all this horrible stuff, kids being raped. Hundreds of new victims, we're going to be releasing it." So you wouldn't say all that if you were planning to cover it up from the beginning. So something has changed along the way, and it all points towards this being used to blackmail the deep state. I'm not endorsing it. I think clearly this is what Musk learned about a few months ago and looked like he aged 10 years overnight, looked completely freaked out. And then I think the conscience had to come out and say what he said. I mean, even people like Cat Turd, who is just the quintessential, will not question anything in the Trump administration, is completely freaked out now. I mean, no one is buying this. Patrick McDavid's had really good breakdowns of it all. Jack Posobiec said, okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell is innocent because she was found guilty of sex trafficking. So how do you say there's no trafficking or blackmail or any of this? It's just absolute horseshit on its face, and it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Trump is doing a lot of good, and obviously the deep state's trying to destroy me for supporting him. It's been hell, and a lot of good's happening. I'll say this. This is very, very painful and nauseating. I'm actually physically nauseated in the last 3 hours since I got up and just trying to collate this. And of course, I instantly knew what was happening when I saw the information. I've talked about the different scenarios here. Obviously, there's nothing the globalists wouldn't do to keep this from coming out. They've already tried to kill Trump repeatedly. Have they rolled over? I see a lot of signs that, Trump's pretty much in charge now. And so all evidence points towards them using the information to control the deep state. So meet the new boss, same as the old boss. The Who song won't get fooled again. But I'm going to say this in closing. I'll be covering it all today at 11 a.m. Central when my show kicks off at Infowars.com/show and on here on X and on the radio stations across the country. We are seeing 96% reduction in smuggling of humans across the border. They have raided a lot of people and found human traffickers. They have saved a lot of kids. It's in the federal filings, but they're little kids, so you don't see their names in the news. That's the way that works. These are juveniles. That's the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of missing kids, millions of kids total. And so I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but at the same time, the fact that this is a key, the fact that they didn't just shut up about this, even though they were going to use it for blackmail, or it was too dangerous, seismically for the system to bring it out. And I'm not defending that. I'm saying that would be the thinking. You don't then have Kash Patel and Bongino like deer in the headlights, looking like they're hostages, saying, "Oh no, we've seen everything. There's nothing there. No, he killed himself," and put out this stupid video from outside the cell bay with cops dragging trash cans around, going, "Look, this proves he killed himself." You don't do all that unless it's part of a deal with the system that you've got to go out and say that so that you're not complicit in the lie. And that's why they look like they're being tortured, because I think both men have had integrity, and I think you see them losing their souls on live TV. This is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I don't know how they got Trump and the DOJ to do this, because the public is not buying it. No one is buying it. So I never saw any evidence of Trump involved in any of the stuff that came out. It was all fake. The fake Jane Does, all the crap, E. Jean Carroll, the crazy leftist cat lady, all of it. So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. It's because I have integrity. And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country. And they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out. And, the left, they're all complicit. They're openly promoting pedophilia. We know they're pure evil. And they'll think it's all funny. Oh, look, Alex is sad. The MAGA's tearing itself apart. Your globalist masters literally want you to eat bugs and live in a 5G, 200 square foot coffin apartment. Look at the left. Look at them all posing with their Pfizer shots, looking like dead zombies. I mean, come on. You guys are sick. And so you shouldn't look at those of us that have a soul still and have integrity in pain over this and celebrate, you dumb pieces of fucking shit. You're going against your own self-preservation, serving this evil globalist system in BlackRock and the New World Order and Hakeem Jeffries and all the rest of it. So I'm just processing this right now. I don't know on what planet Trump is doing all this good stuff in the real world and still being demonized by the corporate media and constant lies like, oh, there was no weather alert for flash floods in Texas by the National Weather Service. There was the day before and over 500 times. It's just constant lies. I need to defend Trump. He's being lied about. And then this type of shit happens. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's just, it's beyond insane. You couldn't try to hurt yourself worse. You couldn't try to discredit the FBI worse than what they've done. Pam Bondi, all of it. All those videos are saying, yeah, she's seen the videos. It's all coming out. And then now it doesn't exist. I mean, what? Damn it. 11 a.m. today, I'll be covering it.
So, you muted Ollie.
Essentially, they're saying he's innocent.
What they're saying is that, I mean, because
he didn't give any information.
It's strange because the thing is, right, if there's no, so you can take a Jeffrey Epstein out of it, because you can argue that if he'd have gone to court, he would have been at least tried himself pedophilia again, because he was already a convicted pedophile. The tricky one is to this whole situation. So if there was no clients, the Epstein Island wasn't a sex trafficking ring network, fucking Disneyland for freaks, then what the fuck is Jizzy Maxwell doing in prison?
What is she going to be? Maybe that's to be fucking 2020 fucking 6, mate. She's out.
Wouldn't surprise me now. Wouldn't see. I've thought this myself today. I'll have to go back because we haven't had time today because they pull back over the fourth wall. We have to record 2 shows today because we've got a guest show to record a little bit later on. The charges she was on, I'll have to go back and look at to see what exactly what they were. If you take the Epstein Island stuff out, is there anything that would keep her in prison? Because it's always been the meme, hasn't it, that Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for sex trafficking, nobody to nobody.
I think she's in prison for kind of like getting the girls and grooming them over to Epstein.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. If there's no clients and there's no evidence, where's the evidence of that?
Well, maybe they're just going to say that he was the monster. Just
no, because they're saying there's nothing.
This is what we said, Lee. We said that they'd make this disappear, and this is what they're doing.
And I can't quite work the Alex Jones thing out there. I can't work out, and if it's like if he's on the level, then I can 100% accept there's a certain.
He definitely wasn't crying. That's why I laughed, because you could see that was just like dramatics.
No, I think he was like I think he can. I think he's probably been doing this sort of stuff so long now that he can kind of like fake emotions. But yeah, like his eyes started watering. His eyes went fucking red, didn't they? So there was definitely some tears going on there. Whether they were well orchestrated acting tears or whether they were.
I hope Alex is one of the good guys. I really do.
I don't think he has to be either. To be perfectly honest, I don't think he's controlled opposition. There you go. So that put that down. I think he's been in it too long doing the same thing to be controlled opposition. It's the same idea as Rogan being a controlled opposition. You go like, oh yeah, but you know they want you to think that he's on your side. You go, right, okay, but you know, look at the lives that show saved and the people that saved from getting vaccinated. You can't tell me that if that's controlled opposition, they did too good a job. Same as Russell Brand. If he's controlled opposition, they're doing too good a job with it. So I just don't buy that stuff. What I am questioning, and this was the conversation we had, is this us been 100% done over by Trump? Because the fact of the matter is, you know, you can. So what happens, right? We know there was actors and celebrities. Like, let's take Bono for instance. Yeah, fucking Bono. All right, I accept Bill Gates. If you've got something over Bill Gates, awesome, because that motherfucker wants to block the sun out. So if your idea is, I don't think we should block the sun out, and you've got shit on Bill Gates, and you can turn around and say, hey, Bill, you fucking shelve those ideas, okay? I get that. Awesome, liking it. But does that mean that Bono gets off just through association because they want to blackmail his mates? Because I can say, apart from the I mean, inordinate amount of good you could do by turning around to U2 and saying, don't release any more albums, I'd take that for fucking blackmail.
I mean, they did do an awesome Batman track.
They did an awesome Batman track, and Discotheque was good. Everything else can get in the fucking skip. But I just don't I don't understand what happens to those people. The Spaceys of the world. Do they just carry on?
They just
do they have to do they have to stop it? Do they have to like no just because we want Bill Gates and the Clintons on our blackmail list, you have to promise no more sucking adrenal gland juice out of children's heads.
Well, I think they'll all just fucking retire anyway, and we'll have the next generation of Spaceys.
I know. Well, you've already got that because they're old now, so that you're still, you know, there's still going to be a whole host of celebrities that are already involved in that. Do you know what I mean?
Because you always hear about the older ones, don't you? The well-known actors that have been doing this for a long time. You don't hear about the new kid on the block.
Look, man, even as a avid Formula One fan, I find it right. You spend try and find some fucking high resolution photographs of Lewis Hamilton's tattoos. Yeah.
Okay.
You go away and look at his tattoos, and then then have a chat with yourself and ask, why is he the only Formula One driver which has transcended the sport? Like Lewis Hamilton is a household name, even as like the only person that's come close to him in like ticking the boxes of Formula One was Michael Schumacher. But Michael Schumacher wasn't like a celebrity in the way that Lewis Hamilton is a celebrity. You know, I mean, the motherfucker's got it's either I can't remember whether it's on his chest or his fucking hand now. But like he's got a pyramid with an all-seeing eye in the middle of it and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, he is cabal to fuck. Big friends with Diddy.
This is what Tom Hanks' son has got the same thing. He's got the all-seeing eye on his chest. Do you remember the thing?
Dave Bautista, when he stopped being a wrestler and became like this massive fucking well-paid actor. You know, he's gone through this whole fucking humiliation ritual of like being fucking jacked and looking good to looking like he had fucking HIV at one point.
And arguably, he's not a bad actor for a wrestler.
No. He's great, but I like this is the thing. I don't think people get to do stuff without talent. I think talent gets you to the door, but to get you in the house, there has to be some other stuff goes on.
I can't believe you let that go. By the way,
What?
I said he's not a bad actor for a wrestler, and you just let that go.
No, because most wrestlers are fucking terrible actors. The Rock is a terrible actor. John Cena is a terrible actor. The Rock is just The Rock. He's The Rock all the time. He's The Rock when he's not The Rock. He's The Rock when he's The Rock. The Rock is The Rock at all times. I'm convinced one day they'll take The Rock off us.
John Cena, please don't unfollow us. I think you're an excellent actor.
I forgot that. Hey, look, I'm just being honest, John. You like it? Hustle, loyalty, respect. You get it.
What if? Here's another way to look at it, because I'm not fully convinced. I'm not even half convinced. I don't know where I am with the whole Trump thing and what he's playing at. What if he is playing it? Remember when we said, like, this whole thing with Elon Musk and Trump with the Epstein files, it's all fucking acting. That they've got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
What if this is part of the plan? What if this whole thing, with the FBI, because the FBI as well, you'll have seen it in the movies, but I think it does happen in real life. And they're like, let's can this. This needs to go away for a bit because you're going to fuck the investigation up. What if that's what they need right now? And then it's like, bam, got you, motherfuckers.
How long though? How fucking long? That was what was supposed to happen in 2016.
Yeah, but we don't know who. We think we know who it involves. What if it involves fucking people that we didn't even know?
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. But the fact of the matter is the anyone like, and I've always been I wouldn't say just a foot in, like definitely up to my knee, at least one leg up to my knee in the QAnon thing. But in the same respect, I've always viewed QAnon with what I kind of thought it was. And well, to be honest, I had QAnon down as hope porn, if I'm honest. So it was just conspiracy hope porn.
Mm-hmm.
That something was going to come in, they were going to smash this thing. We kind of had this thought of what was supposedly happening. There was people on the inside. We're going to stop this. It was so well crafted as well. Like even through COVID, when you had the battleships and the like supposed booms going on underneath the New York, and the idea that they were rescuing like trafficked children from underneath these subterranean, fucking, I don't know, subterranean network underneath New York, and they had those battleships turn up.
Wild.
The battleships.
No, the well, yeah, but also the fucking like subterranean, like.
Well, that was unrelated. That was found under a synagogue, wasn't it? That was unrelated to this situation. But again, fucking wild as fuck shit. That was just came up and just covered up and disappeared. And it's one of the things where like I think this shit goes so deep. I think it's so. What's the right word for it? I think it's so like bipartisan when it comes to religions as well, religions and groups. That's why I think of it more as like this secret religion. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a secret sect out there, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're you're a Jew, you're whatever. It doesn't matter. Sikh, that you get in and you continue to practice your old religion outwardly to everybody else as a
Maybe that's
cover for
one
what
of
you're
the
doing.
things. Maybe that's one of the things that is revealed in these files, like the tapes and shit. Maybe that you can clearly see rituals.
So why wouldn't that come out?
Well, I mean, what if these rituals? What if they show something like a proof of another fucking, I don't know, another entity or,
Well,
or
they
something
would.
like that?
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So that
How would you fucking release that? That's like a fucking disclosure to the public. But I think what they were doing there, and people might think this is fucking wild talk right now, but don't forget, people, that he has some sort of fucking weird temple on that fucking island. Some weird demonic looking temple.
you're making that something that like there is no
Religious temple, not demonic. But you know what I
I
mean?
don't no I don't yeah, but I don't think you even have to espouse that to it.
What do you mean?
It's a building with a gold roof on top of it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, what if something that's in those files is showing
Maybe,
these
but there's
rituals that
pictures.
they do, these child
Well, there's
sacrifices
pictures
that they
from
do?
inside it, and it looks like a fucking office.
Yeah, it does. What they probably made it look like that.
No, but it was even unfinished. They hadn't finished doing it.
They probably made it look like that as well.
I think you're grasping at straws. I think you want.
No, I absolutely don't. I think if they wanted to cover it up, they could cover it up. I think if it's so sinister, so dark, how do you tell the people what they've done? What if they fucking like
Because
child
sunlight is
sacrifices going on that island and all sorts of shit, and they're like, we can't fucking show this.
because nothing sterilizes like sunlight. You can't be the open, free, where about freedom, where about America, where about transparency, and then go, oh, but we can't show them this.
You see, I do think that there is in the powers that be that are out there. I do think there will be good people, but I think there's probably
Quite okay.
I
Show
think it's
me.
infiltrated.
Okay, show me you working out.
It's just a guess. I just pulled it right out my arsehole.
That's so what so this is what I'd like to know is I I always think with the COVID thing, the reason I know um the reason I know that was a nefarious plan, I know it was a nefarious plan against people,
Yeah, absolutely.
is because if it was incompetence, somebody would have accidentally done something right.
Hmm.
So the fact that everything was anti-people and anti-person, and if like not like an inversion of what should have actually been done in a situation,
Hmm.
then that shows me that it was nefarious purpose behind it. You can't accidentally do everything wrong. At some point, you have a happy accident and something works out. So when I look at global governance, especially Western governance, I am struggling to see the decisions that are pro people or pro human. I don't see where they are. That's
Okay. Let me word this differently. So Kash Patel, he promised the Epstein files pretty
day
much. Yeah,
one. Day
yeah,
one.
yeah.
By the
Why
time he
do
leaves,
why
doesn't
do
do
that
his work.
only to look like a knobhead? You know, I think he promised it, and I think he meant that. I think something happened leading up to that, and he's like,
Maybe, but that doesn't matter. That like literally that does not matter. If you go in, right, you put like they put this fucking, you know, the amount of Avengers memes that were going around with fucking Trump, Elon, Cash,
Yeah, I remember those.
yeah, you know, all the
I
Avengers
was
memes that
into
were
it.
going around.
Yeah.
So you can't put yourself forward, because let's not pretend that was organic. That would have been part of the think tank, part of the spin doctors, and there would have been a concerted effort to create a load of those images and put them out into the public zeitgeist so people start sharing them and doing the same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's at that point would have almost been like an election strategy. You can't do that. And like I say, be the righteous ones and then pull the rug back, because the thing is, regardless for the reason, you're now corrupt. You're
I agree,
covering
but
up.
what I'm saying, what if it's only what if that rug is going back down?
I may right. I will not put anything. I wouldn't write anything off, because I'd be a fool to write anything off, especially the way things have been going now. But I personally would give that less than a 5% chance.
You think
That's
this
done.
is a Kennedy case now? It's done. That's it.
Do
We're going to get them in 100 years.
Do you not find it weird? This comes out the weekend after fucking P. Diddy gets a slap on the wrist.
I didn't think of that, but yeah.
No human trafficking, nothing to see here. Go about your business, people.
Is he going to be fucking out free?
Yes, of course he is.
He's going to be out free. He's fucking. I think I said. I don't know if I said.
Hey man, look. He's seen a lot more fucking justice than any of those people that went to that island.
Well, yeah,
even if he got away with it, even if he gets away with it, he's still seen the fucking inside of a cell and the inside of a courtroom. It's more than anyone that was on the flight manifest going back and forth with the island saw.
Okay, let's speak hypothetically speaking here right now. When were we supposed to get that list? Was it a few months ago on it now?
Cash was.
Where did Cash go in?
Cash was the last sworn into his job, wasn't he? I can't remember. It was a couple of months ago. Yeah, let's just say that.
Right. Let's just say he released it, the list, and there's the people we think on.
No, but that's the thing. We don't need the list. We've got the list.
Right. Okay.
We've had the list for years.
Okay. He releases everything to the entire world.
Right.
What does right now look like? What difference would it make to us right now, other than knowing? What would it do? What do you think it would have done to? Because this is what I'm trying to work out. What are they trying to protect?
Well, right. It depends.
What would it have done to the world?
It depends how fucking. That's all. It all depends on motive. If the Trump administration and the FBI under Cash and stuff like that is doing what we wanted it to do, and they've quietly gone in, they've been taking down these elite trafficking rings, like wherever Epstein Island 2, 3, and 4. I said this weeks ago on this show that it should have raised alarm bells when nobody in any prominent position was saying, wait, they could have even deflected with it by saying we don't need to talk about Epstein Island. We know Epstein Island is derelict. Nothing is going on there. We need to find out where the second island is.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has fucking mentioned. So what are we expected to believe that the like honey trap thing? Because this is the thing. I'm not even convinced it was an intelligence operation. We're told it was an intelligence operation. What if they were doing it just because they fucking loved it? What if it was pure capitalism? why Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell before were into this. What if it's got fuck all to do with Mossad, fuck all to do with the CIA, and it was just a in open, as far as in open to like the elite, just fucking Disneyland, just like like a fucking sex-ridden hostel movie
Yeah.
where these people can go and do all this, do whatever they want. I find that.
If it's that though, then the files get it. Then it all gets released.
But how much longer do we make excuses for the fact that both fucking Robert Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump had flown with Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, you see, I do, and I genuinely think this. I think some people will have flown with Epstein, and are totally innocent. But I do think a lot of them are probably well and truly in it. I have no idea. I'm 50-50. I'm literally 50-50. It wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me anymore, Lee. I hope not. I fucking hope not. Because if that is right, we're fucked. Well and truly fucked.
I'm just having a look here because I can't remember this off the top of my head.
It's like fucking better the devil, you know? I mean, it just seems so fucking crazy that he would have that type of power, and everybody would just be like, "Yeah, we're not going to get caught. We'll just keep doing this. We'll just keep doing this. This is fine. No one's going to find out." But yet,
2005 was when I'll read the first criminal case, 2005, 2011. Initial developments, 2005 to 2006. In March 2005, a woman contacted Florida's Palm Beach Police Department and alleged that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been taken to Epstein's mansion by an older girl. While she was there, allegedly paid $300, equivalent to $480 in 2024, to strip and massage Jeffrey Epstein. She had allegedly undressed, but left the encounter wearing her underwear. Palm Beach. So that was the first case. So what you'd have to say is that anybody after 2005, when there was like official cases brought against Jeffrey Epstein, should be treated with utmost suspicion, because I've done many things in my life. I've definitely, and I've known 3 people my age that were caught and charged with similar things, and worse, to be honest, worse than a 14-year-old.
Really?
And and I'll tell you one thing I've done. I didn't speak to those people. I was never what you would call friends with any of them. But I was like good acquaintances.
Like someone you'd see in the pub and just like, "Hey, mate."
And I'd sit down and speak to if there's no one there. One of those ones.
Yeah, we've all probably known a nonce.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, damn sure I didn't do that after that happened.
Or did they not get put in prison?
No.
Really?
It's fucking awful over here, mate. To get convictions.
I just think that, and this is probably just me being fucking naive, but for them to arrest him in the first place, if he is, or if the people that were in on this have their fingers in fucking all the pies, the FBI, everything, why the fuck would he even make it to court?
What if
Why
they
would
were
he
just
even get
shutting
caught?
down that operation? What if it was just shuttering that operation to take it somewhere else, and that's the way you do it? The way you do it is to let a little bit come out, because the whole thing seems like, when you look back on it now, like we've said 100 times with Virginia Giuffre,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not. I even now that I second guess myself with Virginia Giuffre, because the fact that this has happened now, it almost feels like she was a loose end that was tied up before they did this. But
So if that's the case, then if they wanted to take him out, why not just fucking take him out like in a fucking fire on the island or something like that?
because
Why
he's
not
their
do?
friend. Because he's their friend.
Oh
He's
yeah,
a,
I suppose we don't think he's dead.
he's essentially their fucking bartender. Do you know what I mean? Like that's I don't believe to each other they're expendable. Do you know what I mean? Like I think fucking Bill Clinton is a monster. I think the Clintons are monsters. Do I think that Bill Clinton's daughter will be devastated when her father and mother die? Of course I do. Just because they're fucking just because I believe they are subhuman animals doesn't mean that there isn't honor amongst thieves.
Mm. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I think that's the thing. If you maybe there was stuff going on the island where it was something was going to get out, or I still stand by the feeling that the Wiener laptop and the Frazzle Drip story, which was supposedly, for those that don't know what Frazzle Drip was, fuck, we're going to test YouTube today.
Maybe use a bit of code just to be on the safe side, because I think it's still very.
There was a video there that showed like Hillary Clinton and Umar Abedin ending and torturing a girl, and that would the name that I said before, I'm probably best off not saying again, was the video file that was kept in a folder on Anthony Weiner's laptop called insurance policy. That will be the laptop where 12, I think, of the 15, I think it could have even be up to 13 now, 12 or 13 of the New York Police Department planes, including the New York Chief of Police,
have died,
either suicide or they've being killed in like odd circumstances. Anyway, right? Why? It's a wild number of suicides. Excuse me, a wild number of suicides as well. That's been involved with it.
Well, this is it as well. How many of the victims have come out? I know there's a handful. There's like a handful of what have you.
What I was going to say about the laptop is, I believe everything that's happened was because of that laptop, and I think a lot of the technologies we've seen come out now was because of the laptop. And I think there was a hot minute there where there was real worry, and maybe it did do. Maybe like there's always been rumors of that video leaking onto the dark web. I don't know what you would do if you even had it, because it just owning it would be like incredibly illegal to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've often wondered whether the some of the stuff we've seen now, as in like AI generated video and all that sort of stuff, and deep fakes and things,
That's interesting.
were a way that they could explain this away if it happened to hit the internet. If they,
So,
because if
so
that's what would happen now, if that video was all of a sudden to turn up on like Rumble or something like that, or BitChute, one of the like the more free speech video platforms. First of all, it would take the platform down, because you can't have stuff like that just sit around. But what would happen is it would go out once, it would have been copied and saved, then it would hit the torrent sites, then it would hit the dark web, and before you know it, there would be then a
it's everywhere.
censored, blurred out version that you could put on X. That thing, you wouldn't get rid of it. But now you could just say it's AI.
Well, this is the thing. I said on the AI show, I said, I think me and you were having a bit of a disagreement about it, but I said, I think this technology, the whole AI thing, we've known about AI for fucking hell. I heard about AI when I first played Half-Life back in the day, about how, the people moved and what have you.
Artificial. There's a
It's been
difference
about for a long time.
There's a difference between artificial intelligence and general artificial intelligence.
Yes.
That's the thing.
But what I'm saying is, I think this technology was already there. And it's like, fuck, you've just hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
they just go, we're gonna have to fucking release this.
We need
it out there, because as soon if somebody's got this file, and if it gets out there, we need to be able to say it's AI. So
and then,
because they've probably used AI before on news in the past. They've probably used.
Well, we know the faked, like we know the fake news articles, like it's like the two things, because I said it on.
I mean, like 10 years ago, Lee.
Maybe. The only thing I'd say maybe not there is the fact that we're literally having to build new infrastructure to deal with the electricity that it takes to do cloud computing and AI.
I agree. We are, but what do they have? They've probably got hidden shit.
No, but that's the thing. If they don't have 0 point energy, I don't think we have 0 point energy. I don't like Ross Coulthard, I think, has come out today, which is probably something we'll hit later on in the week. Maybe tomorrow's show, actually. And he's come out and said that the TikTok is like Lockheed Martin tech or something like that. I
saw that in my feed.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of that properly yet, because I knew we weren't covering it tonight.
I might watch that tomorrow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have no idea what the like what we have and what we haven't. But I'm just not convinced that. I think they would keep things to themselves, but I think they would repackage it in a way that they could sell it to us. So if we had 0 point energy, I think they would quite happily do away, because people would say, "Oh, they wouldn't get rid of fossil fuels." No, for the fossil fuel industry would quietly transfer to something else that's cheaper to make, but then continue to sell it to you at the same price you're getting it for, or a higher rate. That it happens all the time. You look at the your broadband cost will go up, but it's not costing your fucking provider like anywhere near as much money as they are trying to sell it to you for.
I'll tell you something, to go back to what you said about them releasing this technology, because that video may come out.
Yes, and that's the thing I'll say is, if something like that comes out, I believe that's real. They will say it's not real, and I believe it is.
But I think then what they will do, I think they'll reverse this whole AI imagery thing. They'll make it illegal. But they can still use it, but they will make it illegal. They'll bang the fucking thing.
I don't think so, because they want the chaos. Because it's only us that won't know the truth.
Yeah, but if they ban it, they could still use it.
They can still use it anyway.
They're just motherfuckers.
They can still use it anyway, but if they leave the technology out there, I don't think you can put it back in the box now, because enough of this is open source now. You can
People get off the fucking dark web or whatever. They'll be
no,
illegal apps
we
and all
even
sorts of
not
shit.
even not just dark web stuff. There's even like on the Linux store now, you can download something called Llama, I think, which is like a generative AI chat thing, and that's all open source.
But
That's
you're telling me though that say you get a Clinton video, you get a Gates video, Barack Obama, whatever. You get all these videos out. There is not going to be something that's going to be, if they're saying it's AI, there's not going to be rules and like prosecution laws and all sorts of
there
shit
already
going on.
no, there already is those laws. You can't. It
Yeah,
is
I know there is.
illegal. It's illegal to make fake porn about people. So there is already rules and laws about that.
I can see it getting like to the point where you need to watch your thumbnail there that you're doing for this show.
I think they will want the debauchery.
Maybe.
I think they'll want it out. I think they'll want the. If there's one thing I think about these people, right? The only thing I think that they enjoy more than going to islands, or they would enjoy more than going to islands, is to corrupt the rest of the world with what they consider like desirable.
Maybe they like their maybe having their stuff out there in plain sight, and people saying it's just a conspiracy and it's just nonsense, is exactly what they fucking love.
I think the other thing you're going away, I think that would radicalize more people as well. I think it would radicalize more people into doing those sort of things. Or what it would do is maybe emboldened, like what we're seeing with fucking the Jew thing right now. It's becoming so socially acceptable to blame Jews for everything right now that you've got fucking awful musicians on the stage of Glastonbury openly calling for the death of Jews. That's insane to me. And the funny thing is, this has happened in a real short time. We went from.
I want to talk about that with our guest later on tonight.
Yeah.
Get, to be fair,
we have gone from that. This is more of a example of. I'm not necessarily. I don't necessarily want to talk about the topic. It's more of an example of how people that already harbor these views unnecessarily they kind of want to cultivate them, but they've still got to kind of hide in shadows. They've got to be in the closet with stuff. It's just shown me that you give those people. It's one of the reasons I'm a free speech advocate. Always been. I've always thought you give people enough rope to hang themselves, and that's what's happening. You open the Overton window slightly. All these motherfuckers that secretly hated Jews, and I mean hate Jews. Like we can argue about,
and they probably couldn't explain why they do either.
No. Well, we can argue about the amount of Jews that are massively successful in the entertainment industry. We can talk about the amount of Jews which are massively influential in the finance industry, and we can talk about the reasons for that. And if we're all perfectly honest, the reason for that is that they still have a sense of community amongst themselves, whereas I think Western Christian whites have lost a sense of community especially in large built up areas. We've kind of we see that quite a lot in the UK now. I see that quite a lot where I am. Is the sense of community eroding? I'm not sure whether that is complacency or complacency in the eyes of security, because if you've got security, then you feel like you can just kind of be an army of one. You can just me and my family, and I'm a dog, and that's
Dave was so right when he said, know your neighbor, get to know grow community.
yes,
That
yeah, he was
I think that's
100%.
an important thing. I mean, I've got to know my neighbors.
Yeah, but
Right.
I think, but this is the thing. I can't work out whether it's complacency because we're all so safe, relatively. Then maybe we subconsciously just drift away from community, or whether it's something that's been actually sewn into the white Western culture in order to fragment it for some reason.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think if you were to back to what we were talking about, if these people are into this sort of thing, they would want it to spread. They would want it to spread because that's, make no mistake, if
What do
these
you mean,
people,
like a fucking porn, dark
mate, look what
pandemic thing?
look what they've done with the and this isn't this isn't a slight on gay and lesbian people. But look what's happened to the LGB when the Q plus AI, TQ plus AI, wherever we are, got added onto the end of it.
Oh, mate, do you know how many
That has been a vehicle for debauchery.
do you know how many gay people are fucked off with that now? They've had enough of it.
Oh yeah, we follow LGB without the T on X. It's a really good X profile. But like that has been used. Like you've seen the community that was that was the pride thing, that what that you've seen that be eroded away, like the people that were involved with it stop getting involved in it, because I know stories of like pride festivals and meetups and stuff like that disappeared because all of a sudden there was certain groups in that wanted to inject the the trans story time element into these things, and that's that, and rightly so. You get an internal war then amongst that of people going, fucking I'm not so fucking sure about this, chief. I think maybe you don't need to be reading any children books. But that's I think there's a fucking reason behind that. I think there's a reason behind how, there was a time when I remember before the world went fucking crazy. I was in Liverpool when it was Pride Day, when it was just a Pride Day thing. And Liverpool was like a fucking carnival, and it was fine. It was good. I was out having a few beers with people. I was there for a completely different reason. It was just a coincidence. And
You were holding that flag with pride, weren't you?
I didn't hold a flag. It's not my flag to hold. But we went from, this is a load of people that load of dudes like to fuck each other,
But
to
proud of who they are.
but we went from that to naked people walking down a street screaming, if you don't like this, you're a bigot, in a really short amount of time. And again, it shows that if people are in a closet, and I don't, this isn't a gay thing, this is just a general thing, a general thing of like of any sort of things, like, because that's the thing, like, because as soon as you you introduce like queer theory into like the sexuality mix, that opened the door for like there's no reason why people should feel ashamed of their sexuality. But maybe you should feel ashamed that if you like to fucking like dress up as a child and shit yourself in a nappy. Maybe you should be ashamed of that. Maybe that's a fetish too far. Maybe if you like to dress as a fucking dog and get whipped by a mistress, maybe you should feel ashamed if normal people find that out. Maybe that's a fetish too far. But what we did was we cracked the Overton window open and these fuckers smashed through the door. And then they started using the quite right and just arguments of homosexuals where like we just want to like live our lives and like live our lives the same way that you straight people live your lives. But now
essentially they're nothing to do with gay
no,
or lesbian
absolutely
people
not.
or bisexual
No,
people. You know,
but
that's
now you've got fucking people that are biological men screaming at you that if you don't look at my butthole, you're a fucking asshole. And this is like you've got to accept how I want to live because it's my lived experience. I mean, it's, to be fair, a lot of this stuff, I don't think it's being backtracked as much as people are just fucking tired of it now.
if you like to shit in a litter tray, then you know,
keep it to your fucking self.
Well, either that or go seek some like mental health. You know, just go look after yourself. It's probably just some wrong wiring somewhere. You know.
Well, there is. I mean, the mental health argument is a huge conversation.
This is what's on the
when it comes
rise.
to this.
I think
Well,
we.
yeah.
I think we. Well, no, I think we're in it. Not that it's coming. I think we're starting to be in this fucking mental health, like apocalypse. Like,
Do you think it's because we're so separated? Like we have become so separated from what it actually takes. There's a fucking good thing. How did I fucking not remember this? So I'm gonna bastardize something here, and I apologize. Hopefully someone will know what I'm talking about and they can link it in the description, like put a little comment underneath the video or in the comments for the podcast. There was a study done on mice or rodents of some variety. And what they did was they separated they're supposed to be in packs, or whatever we call them. I don't think you have a pride of guinea pigs, but do you know what I mean? Whatever the collective noun is for whatever was being tested, and they separated them, and I can't remember what steps they did, but they separated them and did various things to them, which were essentially completely counterintuitive to how these animals would naturally live. And they all did the same thing. They would kind of cope for a little bit. You would see fear and anxiety, and then eventually they just died. Like they become so fucking separated from what they were, they would just die. And there is I wish I could remember who came up with this theory and what it was. But they worried it was from the advent of social media and this like constant fucking dopamine thing we're on. They had a real world doomsday scenario where, just like the rodents they were testing on, that human beings would get so far removed from like the natural balance of what we are supposed to be doing as creatures that we would die out. We would naturally die because we've moved. I'm so sorry because it was so fascinating. And I can't remember
think
where
I've
I
heard
found
of
it.
this. I think I have heard of this, and maybe you've butchered the story again before. I don't know.
No, I probably remembered it much better last time if I told you, because I remember either watching or reading something like this, going, "Oh no!"
But do you know what this reminds me of? What you're saying. This, I've just listened to the interview with the is it ex Pfizer guy?
Oh, Mike Eden.
Yeah. And what he's talking about is how society is working now, and like we're all working like essentially against each other. The sides are all split, and then they're just going to bring this fucking digital fucking ID in, and people are just some people are just going to fucking beg for it.
No, yeah, but the counter argument of this one scientist is that we are actually not just walking into like a technocracy. We are sleepwalking into our own extinction event because we can't. In the same way as I think one of the reasons it's probably best to put it, to think of it this way. So we are in like, even though it doesn't feel like it, yeah, we are still in the early stages of social media.
Oh yeah.
On the grand scheme of things, like social media isn't even a fucking teenager in the history spectrum. And look what it's done. I wonder sometimes whether that's why people seem crazy. Like, and is it? I'm sure there's not one person in a psychiatric ward knows they're insane.
Mm.
So does that mean we're all like, you know, everything's
a lot of people in psychiatric wards think that the people around them are insane.
Yeah. So does that? Can we look at this as a spectrum now? Like, have we all been infected by social media to an extent? Are we all like the hyper fucking stimulated and hyper connected with far too many people and names? Fucking, there is something so fucking like counterintuitive to just being a human.
Mm-hmm.
To like, I've had arguments with people on the internet, and
have you really?
Yes. And don't get me wrong, he fucking enjoys it, which is probably not good for me. But think, how weird is it? Like, it's weird enough when you bump into somebody. Like, let's say if you, we've all done it before. We've all been in the situation. You've accidentally bumped into somebody at a bar, or you're in the street and you bumped into somebody, and they've been really like overly aggressive at an accident that's happened. It's like, fucking chill your fucking goose, buddy. You know, this is a weird reaction you're having to me. But at least there's a physical contact there. At least there's physical contact and you've met that person. Yet, online, we have arguments with people. We only have one. It's a single solitary moment of communication between you and another human being. You will never see each other. You will never speak to each other again. And you chose in that brief moment to call him a faggot. What a weird way to communicate with people.
It is a weird way to communicate with people, but I mean, that's the reality.
It is now.
That's the reality we live in.
No, but it is reality, as in like it's what's going on around us now, but it's a manufactured reality. It's not the reality we should be living in.
These people, but these people, they are a lot of them as well. When whatever goes on, was going back to Epstein, whatever goes on with this whole case, they're going to accept it. There'll be so many of those that accept it. You know, free fucking Maxwell. That's what you're gonna fucking get. Free Maxwell.
Maybe. I'm sure. I don't want to get into the stuff we'll talk about later on with our guests, but it's fucking insane. Like every day I am surprised by the state of like the communication sphere, and like what we deem as the pulse of the zeitgeist, whatever we want to call it.
This is what
But-
people need to realize. Our intelligence agencies, you know, here in the UK and America, and probably the rest of the fucking world, they're insanely good at what they do.
Do you know what'd be hilarious is if they're not working anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know, like it's like that used to be like you get like the intelligence agencies in the US and the UK and stuff like that would stick a story out there onto the internet. It'd take fire. People do this, people do that. Then they go on with the nudge unit and move people around a little bit. But wouldn't it be fucking wild if after COVID they're scratching their heads going like we're not effective anymore because it's now like trying to target a fucking what are your animal words, Lee? It's like trying to target a single piranha in a fucking feeding frenzy now.
I wouldn't like to do that, by the way. I don't like piranhas.
No, they're weird as fuck.
Straight from hell, I think.
And you get those people and say, "Oh yeah, well you know they don't actually attack people, and you can swim through piranhas."
You fucking swim with the bastards then.
What if the only reason we think you can swim with piranhas is because anyone that's ever tried hasn't got fucking out?
Yeah, I'm not trying that. I'd rather swim with a fucking shark, if I'm honest. You just have to punch it on the nose.
Yeah, because realistically, if you swim with a single shark, you've got it's the fucking internet. It's the internet argument again, isn't it? You jump in the sea with a shark, you've got to hope on that day that shark doesn't want to call you a faggot.
The thing is, like, a piranha, it's going for your knob.
Well, see, the thing with piranhas is you could get it's like mob mentality, isn't it? Like you could jump into a pond with like 700 sound piranhas. One dickhead bites your toe.
Starts it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because as soon as they have that little taste for it,
yeah,
that's it. He's stripped.
Right. It's fucking Gary the piranha's full of kickoff, and he just comes swimming in. He's probably got a Parker jacket on, listening to Oasis. What's going on here? I mean, we're anthropomorphizing piranhas now, Ollie. So it's probably a good idea to shut the show.
Yeah. Also, my mum's pussy is all over this room at the minute. Like
fucking all over the room, all
my
over
wife,
the village, all
reason,
over your fucking city.
She's just let
all over the internet
let it in, and it's just crawling everywhere. It's quite off-putting.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening, people. Sorry, it's a bit of a shorter show than normal tonight. We're doing a quick break to go and get some food. Then we're going to come back and record again for you because there is stuff going on this weekend, this week, which is going to make recording difficult. But we want to make sure that we do not miss a day, yo. Like our friend Vetted would have said years ago before he decided not to do it every day.
Oh, so we can steal that now.
We could, but as I just proved, we sound pretty fucking dopey saying it.
Well, you did. I mean,
you need that Texas draw, mate. It's not fucking.
We don't miss a day, yo.
Yeah, see, that's the first and last, I reckon. I think we've tried. Everyone's happy. We've all had a go. Let's not be silly about this. I've had a nice time. And if you want to continue having a nice time, then you need to keep the lights on in this place. And you know what? What keeps the lights on? Fucking money. So if you'd like to go to Patreon, pay us $5.99. We'll give you early access to videos. We give you ad-free podcasts. There is an easy way to get in touch with us that way as well, which whether tech support or fucking whatever, show ideas, all that sort of stuff. We will answer you in the comments there and stuff like that. We also do a monthly show, which is like a hangout show where me and Ollie will probably chat for maybe half an hour. The show, I think we did about 2 hours last time, didn't we? We did like an hour's talk about something. Then
we bring you on.
Then we start bringing some guests onto the show. You guys come on. You don't have to have. We would like it if you had a video and audio, but if you just want to do audio, you can just do that as well. What else? There's merch in this. There's merch down the bottom. If you are listening to this on Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star review. Please leave a comment because I like them, and the algorithm likes them almost as much as I like reading them. If you're on Apple, you guys need to pick the pace up and drop some fucking reviews for us, you bunch of fucking bellends. Other than that, Ollie, did I do all the things?
I think you've done all the things, yeah.
Do all of the things, just like your mum. We will be back tomorrow. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. And they are not what they claimed to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids. Visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.